Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about two civilizations that are incredible. I absolutely love them, and to be honest, I love everything about them. And these two civilizations are actually part of the new DLC, the Armenians and the Georgians. So these two new civilizations have been amazing. I'm going to break down each one of them and explain to you just why I really love them. And it's not because they're like overpowered and you have to play it because you get free wins. Not about that at all. In fact, these two civilizations are very healthy for the game. Neither overpowered nor too weak. They fit right in the sweet spot, and that is what makes them so nice to play and such a nice addition to the game. Let's start with the Armenians, and we'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses of the Civ and how they fall into the meta. So right off the bat, Armenians jumped to the top tier of water gameplay, becoming probably the best water Civ on certain maps, and if not, at least a top 5 Civ on most water maps. This is amazing because the water meta has been quite stale for a while, so with the addition of Romans for some of the top tier Civs, like Romans and Byzantines for water gameplay, Armenians came in also with the Romans and have a bunch of other bonuses, and they are right away a solid water Civ to shake things up, which I really like. And as far as overall, Armenians have a very solid economy and a really good tech tree. And what I like about the tech tree is that it's super wide open up until the mid game. Like in Castle Age, you're missing nothing. You've got bloodlines, you've got husbandry, all the blacksmith upgrades available. You've got maybe thumb ring is the only thing you're missing. You got a good unique unit. You got the warrior priest. You've got champions in Castle if you want them. You can also take longsword from earlier. You can go halbs in Castle Age. So a ton of options for the Civ, and you're really not missing out on anything in Castle Age. And I really like that. It makes them super flexible. It makes your opponent kind of guess what you're going to be going for because you have so many viable options, and it makes them fun and diverse to play. Every game feels different with them, and I like that. And I also really like the fact that you drop a church, you get a relic for free, and that can start a push that, your monks can garrison in it, so it's a really good forward building. Could be a bit annoying once people get really good with it. Monks garrisoning is like super hard to deal with, so this could potentially be annoying in the future, but to start things off right now, I think it's, very fun, and the church gives you a lot of flexibility, and I really enjoy that. The good thing about Armenians though is that although they have a really good mid game, they kind of fall off a little bit in the late game, but not in a way where they're just unplayable. They actually have a decent late game. It's just a little bit limited in their options. Without bombard cannons and siege engineer, they can't just set up sieges and camp the trebs and hope that works. They have to actively push. They've got 100 HP champions with gambesons. They've also got halberdier, very solid unique units, decent siege. So they've got good options, and they also have top tier monks. So they've got good options. It's just not your typical arbalest halb bomber cannon Civ. So it's different than what you'd expect from like an archer infantry based Civ. And so Armenians still have a decent late game, but it's a little bit unconventional. And I really like that because it adds variety and it forces people to think outside the box to make use of them. Also, the way I see Armenians is a relic control Civ as per my new build order that I shared on Patreon and with Twitch subs. But aside from like the late game being decent, they should have 6 relics. So like forget about the units. If you have 6 relics, if you play them correctly and you control all the relics, or at least let's say 5, your opponent gets 1, he's lucky. Viper gets 1. Doesn't matter. You have 5 relics and you have a really good late game because of all that gold income. So I feel like Armenians, despite having a pretty lackluster late game, can always win if you just control the relics and have really good gold management in late game. And I really like that concept. Lastly, Armenians can play pretty much all maps. They could even be good on arena because the warrior priest could help you control the relics, like I said. They could also be played on open maps like Arabia. Even in NAC 5, there's a map called Rocky Forest. Armenians could be solid there. They have so many maps where I feel like they can just play anything. They can play hybrid maps because they have a really good wood economy and have really good water tech tree. They're so flexible and just so fun to play and very versatile on all kinds of maps. And that is just like the perfect Civ design. I'm truly happy with the Civ, and I want to give a lot of credit to whoever developed the Civ and whoever brought it to the table. Big thank you to you guys. You guys nailed it with the Armenians. As far as like crunching the numbers, obviously some things might be a bit too strong, some things might be a bit too weak. It's too early to tell, but on first glance, conceptually, Armenians are incredible. Moving on next to the Georgians. Now, the Georgians have had a little bit more of a splash on the tournament's land map territory. I feel like Georgians have a little bit more potential than the Armenians, but it's still pretty balanced. Let me go through what I think about the Georgians. So they've got a really good Dark Age because they start with a mule cart, and that's like pretty solid start to the game. Obviously, you're missing 50 food, but you get a decent start, okay? It's not a great start, but it's solid. And then you go into a pretty weak feudal age because your feudal age, it's really generic. You don't really have that much going for you. You have bloodlines and you have all the tech available, true, but you don't have any bonuses that really help you out in the feudal age. So they're a slow civ in the feudal age, and it's something that you just kind of have to get through to get to your power options in the late game. So it's a scaling civ. In the feudal age, you only have like some regenerating scouts, that could help you a little bit. It's not too bad. If used correctly, it can be very good. So it's a very skill reliant bonus, which I like. But their feudal age is pretty forgettable. But going on to the castle age, if you're able to make it there on a solid footing, that's when you really start to pop off. The church setup giving you a 10% faster gather rates on everything, faster worker speed on pretty much everything is so freaking strong. Like that is a huge bonus. If you just spam the churches around your economy, it's in an 8-tile radius as well, so you don't need that many churches to cover yourself. And then you get that boost on all your villagers. That is an amazing bonus, and I feel like the church setup is so strong for the Georgians. Not only that, but the churches also act as defensive buildings and monasteries, so they can help add in monks. Georgians have excellent monks. No warrior priests, but they have excellent monks. They give you defense, they shoot some arrows, they can allow the monks and the villagers to garrison in them, and on top of that, they boost your economy. So the Georgian town is going to look like 3 TC, 2-3 churches, and then maybe a castle. How do you raid that? That is nice, that is fun, and that is a good, solid base. And again, it's balanced because they have a pretty weak early game, pretty weak feudal age. So I love that they can pop off in the castle age. Not only that, but they have a lot of good options in terms of military. Their Manaspa is borderline OP. Like their Manaspa is very strong, produces very fast, relatively cheap, incredible stats, like a lot of melee armor, decent range armor, or pierce armor, and a lot of attack. Good speed, super good option castle age onwards. Probably their best overall unit. Then they also get Halbs, they get hand cannoneer. Oh, they also get CA. Although they're missing thumb ring, the CA regenerates, so that's a decent option. So cav archers, very solid with the Georgians. And they also get, siege engineers, but no bomber cannon. So again, they're a civ that is not like overpowered. They don't get everything, but they get a good amount of options, and they're a good late game civ, good scaling civ, and pretty flexible. Again, there's nothing not to like here. It's an amazing civ design, and I really love the Georgians. They tweaked some of the numbers on like the repairing, so their team bonus is now like 25% repair savings instead of 50%, and their hill bonus can be pretty strong at times. So I like the fact that they take less damage when they're on a hill. I feel like that's kind of like their identity or their playstyle a little bit. Kind of play a bit more defensive, which is cool, but it doesn't feel too strong. So it's like the right power level, I would say. And again, similarly to the Armenians, the Georgians can be played on a variety of maps. Like right off the bat, we kind of think of them as like a closed map civ. You get past that early game, then you go like, castle age crazy boom with the churches, and you boom to a good late game. That is like their obvious strengths, but they can easily play some kind of open maps if they just play a little bit more defensively, and then let their Manaspas do all kinds of raiding in the mid game, and then defending themselves because it's an open map using the churches. That can be a very viable approach. They can play on water maps as well because they just have such a good economy throughout the game that if they're fighting water and developing their economy on land, it's going to be possible, and they can kind of keep up on both land military and water military because of this good economy in castle age, and they have a good unique unit. So Georgians just feel incredible overall and pretty well balanced. I really like both of these civs, and I think that, again, we are lucky to have them here. So yeah, in conclusion, I feel like both the Georgians and the Armenians are both very fun to play, balanced yet strong. They are good, but they feel balanced. They don't feel like they're impossible to play against. They have weaknesses, and they have strengths, and they have some, missing spots in the tech tree. What I love about these two civs is that they are flexible, and they're not overpowered in any one thing, and then terrible in everything else. Like, if you compare these civilizations to some of the other civilizations that we have, some of the other civilizations are like insane in like one category and then terrible in all the other categories. Like take for example the old Goths. Now they've been fixed, but the old Goths were like amazing in infantry, terrible in everything else. Obviously it's been fixed and they've been a little bit better throughout the early game, but Georgians and Armenians are naturally very flexible. They have good options, nothing's overpowered, nothing's terrible. That is good game design, and I love how well-rounded these civilizations are. And lastly, I'll end by saying that these civilizations made a huge splash on tournaments and ranked play. It feels fun when you get them in ranked. It feels nice when you see them in tournaments. Some players are banning them, some players are picking them, and some players are ignoring them. That is the perfect addition to the game because it shows that the civilization has merits, but it doesn't overshadow all the other civilizations. That is exactly what a DLC should do. It shouldn't be pay to win where you have to get it to compete, but it shouldn't just be like, okay, who cares about them? It's not exciting, it's not fun. They killed it with this DLC. I'm loving the Armenians and the Georgians, and I hope to show them off in NEC 5, and hopefully I'll win with them and make this video proud. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your experience was with Armenians and Georgians, by the way, and let me know if you guys are using my build loaders with both of these. I made one for each. Let me know if you guys are having success with my builds or if they completely suck ass and I should retire as a pro player and a strategy maker. Thanks so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.